Hi everyone. In this example, I want to show you how you can combine files from a folder when the column headings are completely mismatched. Now, on its own as well, this can be very helpful for an Excel workflow. When you have a number of different files, let us say there are 15 files, and you want to know how many unique column headings are there, which will help you in turn fix the column headings. And of course, when you're trying to combine the data from all the files in a folder using Power Query, either on Excel or on Power BI, it is important to know how many unique columns exist. So this is the dataset that I have with me. There is a folder on my desktop called Sales Historical, and I have 5 different files with me here. Let me walk you through them. In 2011, you will see that we have these 7 columns from column A till column G. Row ID, order ID, postal code, sales, quantity, cost of goods sold, and the shipping cost. If you go to the next file, 2012, you will notice we have exactly the same 7 columns. Let us go to 2013. Now this time you notice there is a small problem. We have a column called total sales, which we know is the same thing, but it happens to be that it is not called sales, but total sales. Then in 2014, we have total sales and total quantity. Again, the order is same. It's just that the word total is extra. And then finally, in 2015, we have total sales and total quantity, but we have one column less, which is the postal code. Now, this happens many times because a business realizes after a while that you're capturing a column which is not even used for analysis. For example, it would seldom happen that you're using the postal code for any analysis. Hence, we are removing it. Let us see what we do in this case. The Excel file is available with the macro on my GitHub. You just have to click on Run. It asks you to select the folder with Excel files from where we want the extraction to happen. We click on OK. The folder is very conveniently on my desktop, says historical. I click on the folder and then OK. Now the screen might flicker a few times, but then the result that you get is a new sheet. And here you go. We are able to see the headings from all the 5 files. Now, how do we know the unique headings that are there? To do this, we can say equal to text join. We will keep the delimiter as a comma, and I'm going to choose everything here. This is the result. Now let us do a text split in which we want to use the comma as the delimiter. And the purpose of doing this was to get all the 34 values in a single row. That means all the headings, these 34 coming from the 5 files, are coming together. From this, let us now do a transpose. So we get 34 headings like this. And then finally, I can also say unique to get the unique headings. And then finally, transpose one more time to get all the unique headings like this. So we are first doing text join, text split, transpose, unique, and then another transpose. Maybe you can optimize it a little bit, but then this works, right? And it is easy for you to understand and explain to others. What I'm going to do now is to take this heading. I will put it in a new Excel file, and we'll just put some random data below it. So let's just call it 999, for example. In fact, let's call it ABC, for example. And we will go to File and Save As. And I'm going to save it in the same folder which was on the desktop with the 5 other files in it. And let's call this my dummy file. Once that happens, we can close this file now, and on another new Excel file or on Power BI, I will go to data, get data, from file, and then from folder. Let us choose desktop and then sales historical, open. Now you have to be careful here. Once all the files are seen, when you combine and transform, please choose the dummy file, the one with all the unique possible headings as the sample file. We select the sheet. Obviously, there is only one um, single row in it with the value. Now this ABC and the heading is all coming as a record and not as the proper heading, because both of these are text values. So I would prefer in this case that we call it a number, and you will see why. Let's say we put in a 999 here, right? Now when we go to get data from file and then from folder, we select the folder and then open and then select my combine and transform, and then finally we select the sample file as the dummy file. Now you notice that this time the heading is picked up because the heading is a text and all the values below it are a number. We click on OK, and the result that comes on the Power Query editor looks like this. Not to worry. Let's try to understand why this problem is happening. If you notice, it says that there is some problem with the name of the sheet. So let's quickly go and verify that. So if I go to 2011, you will notice that, let me first close Power Query here. All right, let's try and understand why that error is happening. You notice that here it is called sales. The name of the sheet is called sales. That's where you have to be careful. The dummy file that you create also needs to have exactly the same name. So let me do it one more time. Get data from file, from folder, sales historical, and open. We select combine and transform. We select dummy as our sample, select sales, and click on OK. One more time, the Power Query editor will open. And this time there is no error. And if you notice, we have the source.name. If you click on the drop down, you can see that all the files are here. The row ID, order ID, postal code, sales quantity, cost of goods sold, shipping cost, total sales, and the total quantity. Now, do not worry that the total sales and the total quantity is blank. If you remember, in 2011 and 2012, this is what we had, isn't it? We had the sales and the quantity. We did not have total sales and the total quantity. But if I go to one of the other files, let us say 2013, this time you notice that sales is coming as blank, but total sales is coming, and total quantity obviously is null. And if I show you the next file in the folder, which is 2014, this time you notice that sales is blank, quantity is blank, and then total sales and total quantity are there. And then one final time, if I show you the very last file, which is 2015, remember there was no postal code here, hence it is null. Sales quantity is also not there, it is total sales and total quantity. And finally, if I go to the dummy, here you can see that there's only one record in it. We don't really need that. So I'm going to filter it out. So we will simply filter out the dummy file. It has already played its role. All the 5 files are there. The only thing we have to do now is to combine total sales and sales. And this makes sense, right? Because if the value is in the sales column, there's nothing in total sales and vice versa. Same for quantity and total quantity. If one of them is null, the other has a value in it. So I select sales and total sales. And if we go to transform and merge columns, we don't want to use a separator here. You will notice the merged comes like this, which is great. As you can see, we have a 1822 and a null combined to become a merged, right? One more time. We will take our quantity. Remember, it's a 4546. Combine it with the total quantity. Transform merge column. So that gives us no separator. We get 4546. Perfect. Let's just call it my total sales now. And let's call it the total quantity. We will convert this into a whole number. This becomes a whole number as well. And there you go. We have our perfect data set. We have 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15. And despite the fact that some of the files had a different column name, perhaps the order is different, and sometimes a column is missing or a new column is added, this column spelling is different. It will account for all of those things and then give you the data set like this.